Everybody has their own struggle, and as hard as it sounds, we all end up having to find a way to forgive ourselves for everything. Whether we're holding something against someone else, when we finally feel better about it, it's because of something inside of us, not something from outside of us. Even if another person that did something wrong to us somehow made it up to us and we forgive them, we forgave them as if we were like, okay, I can feel better about it inside now because they did something outside to make me feel better inside. But if you could skip that whole process and just say, I feel better inside, nothing's going to change that. And get to the point where you're in control of that 100% because you are in control of you and nothing can shake you, nothing can harm you, nothing can end you. Even when you die, you know you're going to go on. When you get to that point, you forgive instantly. You forget things that don't matter. You don't try to impress everybody. When you get caught up in humanity in the moment and you lose sense of the divine moment and you become in the human moment and you worry about fitting in and all that stuff and you pay attention to time and you got to be somewhere in a half hour and you're in a hurry because you want to get done, those things, you cling. And as soon as you cling and you hold on to anything and you make it a false idol, like a false god, even making a time important is almost like the whole rule of don't idolize a false god, because saying that it's important that you're here at 10 o'clock and if you're late, then you're less of a person. Give me a fucking break, man. You're not less of a person because you were late. You slept in because your soul needed more time to rest in its body. Come on now, man. Think about stuff like that. Yeah, you could have been more responsible, but being responsible isn't our responsibility. Experiencing is our only responsibility. Being 100% true to ourselves is our only responsibility. If that day you want to just sit there and do nothing and sleep in, that's fine. You know, if somebody does that every day, we think it's shitty. When somebody works their ass off and does it every once in a while, oh, it makes sense. You deserve the rest. You deserve the rest because it seriously matters what you were doing on your non-rest periods. When we're not sleeping, whatever you're doing is just what you're doing, man. Whether you're building a skyscraper or sitting around watching video games, your soul is doing what your soul is doing. You're just another piece of God experiencing more. You're doing what you're supposed to do because that's all your neuro system, like your brain, your body, that's all it knows at the moment. And it's doing all it knows or all that you're letting it do because you're in control of it, whether you know it or not. Please understand this, people. I love you, and I'm trying to make it sound as clear as possible. And I think I'm starting to get really good at saying it. As long as I don't try to say it and people try to force it out of me. Like I said, you can't force things. You don't say, God, make this happen. Like even God talking through me or me understanding it and trying to tell you what it means. Like when you're like, what does this mean? Tell me this. What's this then? What's this? Like, it doesn't happen like that, and I'm sorry, but you just have to believe me. I mean, everybody else that he's ever done this to, you sort of have to believe them too. You know what I mean? Even when you make bread appear, people will still crucify you. Even when you turn water into wine, people will still crucify you because they think it's some kind of black magic. And because they can't do it, it's not possible. But the truth is they can all do it. They're just not disciplined enough to get it. And because I can do this and you can't, I'm not trying to say anything, but we would call it cocky, we would call it conceited or whatever in human form. You would think it's wrong of me to say I can do something that you can't, so that I know something you don't. And I'm not trying to say na 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 na, but I know something you don't, and I'm so willing to teach you. But you have to be disciplined enough to admit that in a human sense, you are wrong about everything, and you just have to trust me blindly and love me, love God, love everything, forgive and appreciate and accept and be grateful for what we have as a spirit in this experience, and start from there. And the next thing you know, your life will become divine little by little until it's 100% glorious.